because Lina this game seems very strong in lane, but does have her weaknesses versus the Mars. Is kind of the next point I was going to get into, right? Which is why I was saying I like KBU a little bit better for their team fight.
Down you go. Down you go.
Yeah, and they have a little bit more vision game with that Hoodwink as well, especially since it's going to be so important for Feld how these fights get taken. They don't really have a classic frontliner. Axe ideally wants to jump second. He wants to see a couple of people clustered, reacting to, let's say, a Huskar jump, and then jump on that and punish it. The Omni Knight is reactive. Really, the Skywrath is also a follow-up, so this Lina's role is very... She's gonna wear at least 2 hats here, because she needs to be farming, she needs to be ready to get a BKB early so she can walk out of the arena, so she can stand and hit down the tombstone first, but at the same time, yeah, they're... In some ways, she probably will also have to do some initiating work.
Yeah, might see a Shadowblade build or something similar here, as Feld have managed to maneuver themselves in a pretty good position here. They're about to apply the pinch pretty hard here onto Realm and Borko. Solji is going to pick it off. There's Borko, 8 strength stolen here. He sees lots of heroes, but he's ultimately going to be able to do nothing here for the life of his hard carry, as it's going to be first blood on over towards the Axe. Yeah, and this is where, to me, this kind of Skywrath Mage pick ends up feeling a little bit redundant for me, right? Because Pingo, I think the Omni I would like to have here, not only with Axe, but certainly with the Huskar. However, it feels like a good game for a roamer, doesn't it? Something like a Tusk or an Earth Spirit or something like that. Someone to just go in, give you vision, and ideally stun someone on the way in. Because it does feel like, you know, Huskar, Lina, very high damage, right? You're definitely not going to be lacking that. So I do struggle to see how the Skywrath Mage is going to find a good impact out of the lanes here.
I mean, the only thing that can really happen is that Sora says, fine, I'm not going to go for like the optimal Axe plays where you wait a bit, you scope out the battlefield before you do the step turnaround. But instead, you just run in, I call one guy, it's fine because I have all of the follow-up behind me and I just, you know, build tanky.
Yep. That very well could
That's
be
the way to go, I think.
That could be it. Plus, Huskar, he's basically a frontliner. He kind of just gets Ags and life breaks in. Ideally, though, I think it's best that your carry's not the first in, because it's a little bit easier to punish, especially when they have a couple of breaks for you, but you kind of have to play to the strengths of your draft to some degree, right?
Altogether, I think both teams definitely have options. I am concerned about the Luna's damage output later on versus the Huskar. You're going to have to get yourself to a Skadi before you can properly take any kind of man fight, I think.
It's true. That is true. Huskar is definitely going to be online a bit faster. Usually ends up going for, if you can swing it, Armlet, Sange, Ags, Armlet, Sange, BKB. Sometimes you'll skip the Sange, but kind of...
Halberd.
Halberd, yeah, Halberd this game, pretty strong actually. Yeah, pretty strong versus the Luna. Especially if it prevents those Skadi projectiles from coming through. So they're going to try and punish now the Skywrath Mage. He's now blocked the side camp twice. Borko, Farmouche with 500 max HP here, but with plenty of move speed, is going to be able to outrun the Undying. His top lane kills actually there onto Pingo.
Yeah, I just want to say, doesn't Skywrath have 500 HP anyway?
Yeah, but the scary part is he also has 0 armor, Kips. So when he's missing 8, you know, he does feel quite weak, doesn't he?
He does, he certainly does. He is a tasty chicken, that's for sure.
That he is. His top lane, Shinra. He's trying to make a tasty chicken out of sunlight. Still no points in the Burning Spear, so his harass is a little bit more limited. These early levels are actually proving to be a little bit difficult for Shinra. I believe that's his 3rd healing cell consumed this lane.
Oof. Yeah, and the No Burning Spear build is pretty much the regular right now. You see mostly 2 levels Berserker's Blood and then the rest in Inner Fire. This is more wave clear and certainly okay farming speed later on. And then you go into the Burning Spear for the DPS once you properly start fighting.
The bottom is dropped the Tombstone. It is a level 1 Tombstone, as that is going to be a dead Borko event. One more around there on the Arcane Bolts. Secure that kill. Tombstone denied it away by Realm. 125 gold on that bounty. Farmouche tanking the creep wave and dying to the creep wave. As, of course, that hero with zero armor and no damage block does take a lot of damage to the waves.
Yeah, and he's counting on the Axe to keep the aggro, right? But if you miscoordinate that even a little bit, like they're right next to you, you only need to...
A little bit dangerous. You always play a dangerous game on position 4s when it comes to aggroing the creep wave, right? Not so much because you're gonna anger your offlaner like you will on position 5, but more so just because you're gonna die. Very spicy position here. One of my favorites to play, the support in the offlane. So that
Same actually.
Two-man decay here. Borko doesn't have enough tombstone for 17 seconds. They are well aware that he's only level 2, so it's a pretty easy kill there for Zor. Already up to level 4. Ring of Health on top of his brown boots. Might even go for
Oh dear.
Okay. 16 strength. He's deceptively tanky there underneath the tier 1.
Yeah, that extra armor always suddenly coming in.
In mid lane, this is the way we've usually seen Vipers kind of deal with this lane. I didn't quite see it at level 1, but it was probably this corrosive skin early. Solji on the Lina is going to really hate this. Normally, the way Linas win this matchup is they just kind of outrange and out-harass the Vipers. And then Vipers started just saying, okay, that's fine. We'll just take more points in corrosive skin. Have at you.
Exactly. And she is very much forced to just hit everything she can with her spells right now to get her attack speed up. So you're always going to get value out of that.
Better tombstone as Borko, after Zor secures the last hit, is going to die to the battle hunger. Realm is going to once again ensure at least Borko now gets a kill, as he's going to set up the tombstone zombie for the last hit with the Lucid Beam. Lots of action in this bottom lane. In fact, all the kills from Felt are currently in this bottom lane. They've not found anything yet. Shinra. 1-1-2 as the Bushwhack will find him, and without the Heavenly Grace to dispel him here, Pingu was able to really do anything. He was on cooldown already.
Yeah, and that means that if you look at the CS, the lanes are actually shaping up great for KBU here. The Huskar and the Luna with roughly the same kind of CS, but this Mars is doing really well for himself, having a grand old time. This is going to be very early Blink Dagger if he wants it, or maybe he's going to look for the Armlet, which would not be half bad this game either. They could certainly use the extra damage.
Might look for a Realm here. They will hit him with the Ancient Seal. Luna quite speedy though, is going to be able to outrun the magic amplification there. Strength Treads toggle down over, which should have been toggled off there for the Soul Rip, but that's okay. No one's keeping count as mid lane. Lina's actually going to take a drop. Realm still alive. Zor really considering diving for this kill.
I was just looking at her, but Annihilate just, hit 6. She has nowhere to run.
One Bushwhack into basically death. Looks like the Viper Strike very rapidly contributing to her death there. Vermouth is now in the bottom lane. Zor's up to level 6. Very independent offlaner here, this Axe, although now they're just gonna scout him missing. And throw down the Tombstone. Still only level 1 though, which is not the strongest here in terms of its kind of catch and slow.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, can't do anything about it either. You just have to wait it out.
Does Omni get, because, you know, like the little Tombstone zombie, like, slow stacks, right? Can you, is that dispellable?
Denied. Dire's middle tower is under
Ooh,
attack.
I'm gonna look that up for
So
you.
you could really let those things stack up on you, you know, if you, I don't know, had
Yeah, you could.
say something like a Heavenly Grace to dispel them.
Just spitballing
Just
here.
spitballing, you know, and I could very well see that happening. Very good, very strong, of course, not only for the hero that Omni dispels, but anytime Omni casts Heavenly Grace on an allied hero, he also casts it on himself. And I'm sure he's going to be...
Death only.
Okay, death only. Thank you for checking. So speaking of death, Borko is going to take another one of those down bottom. As Zor is going to pick up his 3rd kill now in this match. Zax is off to an amazing start. In fact, he's going to forego the Vanguard. Just, you know, he's happy with the armor Phase Boots gives him, and he wants an earlier activation here. Just heading straight into the Blink Dagger.
And surprising to see that even though I annihilate.
Yeah, just eats a Laguna Blade, and now with 3 heroes after him, and the Hammer of Purity providing the slow. A great Bushwhack though into the Soul Rip. They're going to be able to turn this one. The double break. Lina out of HP and mana. Fairy Fire is not going to do anything to save her, and Pingu can do nothing versus a Tombstone, even level 1. Is turning this one on its head is KBU. That's a 2nd death now consecutively for the Lina. That one's gotta hurt.
Especially because they brought in several heroes to make that possible. It's
Radiant's
just
bottom
Hoodwink's
tower
one of the
is
best
under
reactive
attack.
heroes in the game. Like, this is a demonstration of why.
Yeah, that Bushwhack just seemingly always from Fogman. Very, very long cast range on that, and you just never really do expect one. Like,
I'm gonna look for sunlight.
yeah, and they will surround him here. They also do get Zor down bottom, however. Try Annihilate TPing on over. They will pick up that kill. Arena of Blood, however, committed top lane. It's not going to yield
Radiant's
anything
middle
for Sunlight.
tower is under
In
attack.
fact, it's going to be Shinra's first kill of the game, and now the armlet flying on its way over to him.
And Pingu already very demonstratively showing that he will be tanking these sharpshooters all game. His body in between himself and the president.
That's right. If he can be
Yeah, it wasn't
the
necessary.
bodyguard there for, as Amar calls him, the Sacred Warrior, he's going to be very happy this game as the Warrior cannot get a spell off. Ancient Seal secures his fate. Excuse me.
This Lina and Viper, at the very least, she should be catching up to the Viper now, but he definitely gave her a clobbering in that laning stage, and that's going to significantly delay her BKB in the end, which we already talked about is very necessary up versus the Mars.
Yeah, and she's got these Blitz Knuckles currently in her inventory. Probably Shadow Blade, I would imagine, to kind of help with the initiation front. Also built into Orchid these days, right? But it is Shadow Blade.
Yeah.
And still Witchblade, is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so a couple items.
At any rate,
Bushwhack finds two. Sunlight, the spear, is going to well pick up the kill onto Pingu, with the credit going to the Warden. But does threaten Afro's life as well as bottom. We do have Zor here in a bit of a pickle. Realm is currently being ran down. Zor with the couple of oh, he's just gonna dunk a courier for the move speed, but it's not enough. Wait, oh, you do get armor for that.
okay. Well, today I learned something.
That doesn't seem right. That's not an enemy hero.
But he huh.
I mean, it doesn't put the ability off cooldown. I don't know. Branding Spears here applied. It means that Sunlight, although he erects the arena, will fall himself top lane to Shinra. A little bit too much damage here on the Huskars. Now his second death consecutively here in this lane for Sunlight. This lane's starting to get a little bit less fun for him now that Shinra actually has items and levels.
And he's just been leaving that inner fire on level 1, actually going into the Burning Spear, deciding that he did want to have more of that harassing power.
3 points in
So he's
his harassment already.
Dire's middle tower is
already a
under
damage
attack.
threat.
Realm continuing to farm up, has at least the
Radiant
Dragonlance
are scanning.
completed, so that's going to be nice just to amp the farming speed here of the Luna. As Lina making really good progress actually towards the Shadow Blade, but right now the action is over here top lane where KBU have smoked up as two. Sunlight returning to the lane, does not have Arena of Blood. Felt knows something's not right here. They'd be correct, but Pingu at least is going to be able to definitely avoid that Bushwhack, and he tanks the smoke gank for his safe laner. Shinra is going to be able to at least abscond behind his tier 1 tower. Can they actually defend this? No. Shinra not interested. He's going to TP bottom.
Dire's structures
It's outta
are
here.
fortified.
But the support troops are still coming in, and Zora is here with a fresh Blink Dagger, and he's feeling kind of betrayed right now, I think. It's like, man, this is my Blink refill, where are you going?
He runs through the Ghost camp, which does slow him
Radiant's bottom
significantly.
tower is under attack.
The Warden, don't have quite vision of him yet. There's no wards here actually for KBU. In fact, Zor the one's playing with a little bit more, or Felt rather, are the ones playing with a little bit better vision here currently top lane. Annihilate, doesn't get jumped, instead they make now the play towards Sunlight. This is going to prevent the Arena Blood from coming through, and a dunk, second stack of armor here for Zor. Zafro is going to be the one to tank that sharpshooter. It's still not going to save Zor though. Because again, without the Lina nearby, or the Huskar even for that matter, they just have no counterplay to this tombstone.
Radiant structures
Yeah,
are
you have to
fortified.
applaud both of the supports for knowing their mission statement this game, though. 'Cause anytime they hear that sharpshooter, you can see them immediately changing trajectory.
Black
It's
mid.
great.
In trouble here is going to be the Lina. Solji.
Oh,
Not going to
no.
be saved by the Shadow Blade. Plenty of sentries.
Radiant's
Both
bottom
just
tower
about to
is
expire
falling.
here within 10 seconds, by the
Dire's
way.
structures
Are going to be
are
utilized for the kill
fortified.
onto the mid lane Lina.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I enjoy this adjustment in the itemization for the Lina, though. Normally you pick up the Shadow Blade
Dire's top
third
tower
once
has
you
fallen.
start start getting into the damage after your BOTs, your BKB. But if you're looking for a tool to position yourself and indeed provide that initiation, then yeah, going to Shadowblade first instead of the BOTs will still provide you with a bunch of speed, a bunch of maneuverability, and then you can go into the BKB with that as your first item instead.
Yeah. I think this is a much better item for mid-lane Linas compared to like the Yules of the old days, right? Luckily, the Shadowblade changes, I think, have allowed the Lina to pick this item up earlier, right, and have it be viable for a scaling Lina build without having to go directly bots, which can leave you a little bit weaker as Steel Borko perfectly positioned here to break the smokes. Blink Dagger over from Zor to open it up, and a dunk. Third stack now of this bonus armor. Infinitely scaling hero, this axe. Bottom is where
These
there's a
days.
little more action. KBU only get Pingu. Shinra's actually going to cancel his TP kips. He wants to stay and fight. And he's gone for a really nice early fighting build. He feels like he's got the time, and the pressure's not here for him to have to rush this BKB after Armlet. So Sange for him after, which does synergize beautifully, not only, of course, with Berserker's Blood, but also with the Omni Knight.
We're still fishing here, Zor.
Yeah, Bushwhack's going to whiff. Arena as well.
Oh, everything.
Really heavily committed there. Realm, however, is still actually making this rotation on through. Did walk through Sentry range. He's going to walk back in range there for the Arcane Bolt to hit him. I think the creeps are going to dispatch the Sentry. No, okay, thankfully. Annihilate's going to take pity on the supports and say, yeah, that 50 gold is about 1/50th of your total net worth right now.
Money to burn.
Let's not get rid of that too easily. 1/20th even. My god, supports are so weak early.
Radiant are scanning.
They are.
They just don't get any money. Borko, of course, having already maxed Tombstone, he's pretty happy with having tanked that smoke. Having tanked that smoke gank top lane. Would have loved to maybe drop a Tombstone, and maybe the team turns from there. But I think the only person right now not having too fun of a game is actually probably Sunlight and over for Felt, likely Solji. Neither really having too fun of an early game.
Yeah, neither of them has really popped off, have they? And I'm sure this Lina is also like, man, I should be way more farmed right now. Instead, she just has normal net worth, which is, now you know how it feels, lady.
Pretty much. You don't have bots. You don't have this instant BKB. You're not going to be this early monster. But still, there is going to be likely a double BKB timing. What is Zor building? Double BKB and a Blade Mail. So 3 significant items, right? Luna's a little bit squishier and might end up taking a bit of damage there to that Blade Mail. For Felt incoming, I think they're still a little bit stronger in these team fights if KBU is not able to really set up properly for them. Borko to break the smoke ganks and dropping a good Tombstone, right? Because again, Sunlight without Blink he just feels a little bit weaker. Went for Hood even.
Yeah, he does. And I think it has to do with the initiation problem that we talked about Felt having earlier, right? Because they do not have a problem when you walk into them. They have so much damage from so many angles, perfect follow-up for the few disables that they do have. So yeah, if Sunlight has to walk into anything, he is toast.
Very true. Yeah, if they lack lockdown, they certainly don't lack the damage. Zor, yep, again, just going for that Blade Mail. Annihilate with his own Dragon Lance is going to be rushing this BKB. He might be able to match the item timings of the Linas, but I don't believe he's going to be able to keep up with Shinra, who is going to likely be the go time here for Felt on that BKB. And
I also, I have a correction, by the way. It does seem that you're actually getting the Heavenly Grace stacks from the zombie slow itself.
Ah, because the slow is dispellable.
Yes, the slow is dispellable. Nothing else is.
Okay, so that is that's pretty significant. I mean, yeah, this is one of the better drafts I've seen for Heavenly Grace to really kind of shine, right? It's there's not a single stun that it doesn't dispel this game. Of course, with your only stun being Sphere and Bushwhack. The slows are a little bit more of an issue, right? Because the Tombstone zombies are going to reapply their slow as soon as you dispel it, basically. And Viper Strike is completely undispellable. But, I mean, hey, now you've got the opportunity to really make this bonus strength and HP regen per debuff really shine.
This Huskar is going to be nasty. I mean, he already was, but this is just extra butter on his biscuit.
tower is under attack.
And he is nearing that BKB now as well. Not quite keeping up with the Luna, but then again, that's the Luna. She's supposed to be really far ahead at any point in the game where she's going to be farming. And yeah, you can see here, she's got the Skadi queued up. I don't expect Realm to actually show up for anything before he has that. It's just not feasible for his team to actually defend him, or indeed for him to contribute very much before he has it.
Yeah, I think KBU would have to really string together, I mean, more than some perfect lockdown, right? We're talking like a spear or a bushwhack to bait out the Heavenly Grace, and then you throw the other stun, and then you've got another toxin on top. It just feels really
Sharpshooter.
difficult. Yeah, sharpshooter, and you better hope it's not blocked by anyone. Like, I think that they could make it work, but if I was KBU, I would say why bother, right? We can just kind of sit back and let Luna farm this item. If there's something that you can definitely say about this Felt lineup is that they don't really siege objectives. Well, the tower push is pretty bad. I would say their siege is pretty good, actually, but they push rather slowly.
Exactly. They can siege, but they have to stand there sieging for a long time. And that gives you plenty of opportunities, for example, with your Mars, who's currently also pretty much chilling. We haven't seen Sunlight run around desperately trying to get these arenas off, like, you know, really trying to make the tempo. He knows, alright, Felt is most likely going to be the ones that want to come at us, so I'm going to grab a BKB and I'm going to initiate into them desperately, and you know what? He's right, because they have smoked up and they are coming for him.
I'm not sure what they're smoking on, though, Kip. So does Zor have Blade Mail? He does. Okay, so they're smoking on the Blade Mail.
He does, yes.
But Lino's like one component away from the BKB. Shinra's even closer, in fact. He's about halfway through the recipe now. So I was just a little bit surprised to see that smoke play because, I mean, X Blade Mail, sure, he's excited. He wants to show it off. The item is better earlier when enemies aren't tanky. But yeah, Felt aren't really, they're not going to do anything with that smoke. And in fact, it's going to be KBU who make the play already into Roche.
Yeah, like I think if you hit somebody there, even if it's not necessarily on a timing, at least you don't leave them to just farm undisturbed like they are doing right now.
Okay.
And in fact, if you would have gotten the kill there, they probably couldn't go into Rush right now. But found nobody. And of course, that smoke gang could have gone hilariously wrong, and then they take Roche anyway.
Yeah, very true. I gotta say, though,
I can see that you want to do something, but it did feel a little bit like, guys, I'm bored. What do we do? I guess we smoke.
And what also kind of feels weird to me is that, you know, sure, we haven't really seen Huskar in a little bit of time, but he's probably still maybe the best or the second best Rocher, right? I think Ursa perhaps takes the cake there, but I think Huskar's got a very strong case, especially when he has Armlet online for him to be considered.
I beg to differ. Shadow Shaman.
Shaman. Well, unfortunately, I don't think he can solo it right at level 6, but he's pretty good.
No.
He does struggle to solo it because he just can't tank through Roche, sadly.
Exactly. That's very unfortunate. Shen's also really good these days.
I gotta say,
you're right.
My point.
Shadow Shaman's probably third.
He's probably third. My point was, though, that I'm a little bit surprised that it's KBU who were the first to take Roche. They don't. I mean, they did do it slowly by any means, but you know, Felt just seemed a little bit better around that objective. They are dire, though, so perhaps that's got something to do with it as well.
They're dire. And the area control from KBU is better. If there's a threat of an arena or of a tombstone, you can't really jump into that.
They're going to jump in. Shinra will do just that, but Realm is going to actually Manta off the life break, and Shinra with the BKB active will go into the arena of blood. Arena ending, but the spears make that the glaive is bouncing around as Shinra stunned once. They will have the nuke damage to get through him as Zor is spinning like a helicopter thanks to the zombies, the Luna illusions, but none of it's going to save him. He is going to be taking a death, the third of this engagement, as KBU just stand their ground as Felt fight into them.
Yeah, can you say initiation problem? Yeah. That was just brutal. His entire front line needs to move forward, gets caught in that arena, so the Huskar has to turn. Like, he already has his BKB on, and he has to walk in there because maybe you're magic immune, but your spears sure aren't. So he spends most of the BKB walking back in, and sure, they get the Mars out of that, but after that, the Huskar is just toast. His BKB is over. Viper's there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Viper's there. BKB's over. He gets spit on, and of course, the Axe has absolutely nowhere to go, as they were unable to really focus down on that tombstone. And again, this is kind of you know, there are issues with this Felt draft, right? And this is where I was like, well, how do you make this Skywrath Mage feel impactful? I thought maybe they were going to go for some more hunting squads, either between Skywrath Mage and this Lina off the Shadowblade. Who was it, like Dendi, who would just start buying Shadowblade to land the stun, right? LSA into... not really so much for the right-click damage, and then you set that up with a Mystic Flare. Like, I thought we were going to see a little bit more of that in the early game. They went for a couple of kills, but the Skywrath Mage with only 4 assists. Instead, it's going to be Zor with a nice jump onto the Squirrel. They're going to try and keep her alive. In fact, they're turning back onto Zor now as the Bushwhack, sorry, the Sharpshooter that is out from the Warden is going to even increase the distance. Warden there is going to live. So he removes the Dispel from himself, and now Shinra BKBs as Pingu has gotten a little bit of bonus HP onto him. 3,500 HP now for the Huskars as BKB wears off. He's just going to abandon this team fight. Still alive, in fact, is Sunlight as Solji BKB's up, trying to fight inside the arena. That's not going too well. Borko is going to die there to at least the Arcane Bolt. They have managed to catch Solji there, the Warden, with another great Bushwhack. He's still going to make this a very, very heavy trade in favor of KBU.
Yeah, KBU really demonstrating here that if they have the Aegis on this Luna, they don't actually have to be afraid of this Huskar. They don't have to wait for that Skadi at all. This is... Their understanding of the strength of their lineup is pretty much perfect right now, and Felt can't really put a word in edgewise. That initiation was so weird. The axe goes in after the Skywrath Mage has just blind Mystic Flared in an attempt to stop a ward from going down. Like, it's... Where's your damage? Yeah. It just fell out of the sky onto nothing.
It did. Yeah, no, it did. Huskar needs a little bit more time to really get initiated like that. And now, well, I feel like he might be out of time here, Kypsos Realm. He's hiding in the trees, and that's because he does have this Eye of Skadi completed. And this would be a very rude surprise to Huskar. You can dispel that, of course, but the problem is Luna is going to be reapplying it quite quickly as Pingu. Speaking of your dispel, it's going to be the first one to realize that Realm now has got this Eye of Skadi completed. Let's got that for the team.
So the only option that Felt really has over now is to put up a really good high ground defense. They do have, in a situation where KBU is sieging, if they have all of the vision, they do get really good opportunities for Zor to come in, to drop the Mystic Flare. All of the things that aren't really connecting right now could still go well if you're fighting in that choke point, but I think if you're KBU, you're not in a hurry whatsoever to go there. They're even leaving the tier 2s in mid or bot up right now, because they're like, yeah, why should we if we just keep farming?
Okay, BKB's off the break, but he's going to have to BKB TP as Annihilate has not enough physical damage to get through him. That's, I believe, his last long duration BKB, though. That would have been his 7-second one. So it's down to 6. Max call here into the Mystic Flare. This time it's a bit of a better jump.
There we go.
Pick through Sunlight. And they maintain control of the high ground. KBU, though, with this Aegis having been reclaimed, aren't, again, as you say, too keen to really look to up their aggression. Luna's got her key item. And I think that the more you can kind of build this net worth lead for Luna, the more items she gets, specifically with Satanic, I would say the more that Felts are going to really struggle to cut her down.
Yep, completely agreed. And she can also finish up the full Hurricane Pike later on if she feels like it and she wants to really get out of range of these disarms that the Huskar is going to be putting out.
Huskars.
I can very much improve her her viability against the Huskar matchups right now.
Okay, they are just going to go onto the Huskar. He's got BKB and now a fresh Halberd as the... oh, they're going to miss a couple of their abilities, but they land their skill shots here onto Pingu. Realm continuing to spam out here the Lucen's Beam as Shinra considering jumping back in. Reconsidering.
Yeah, that Shard really helping with the target finding there. Pingu really feeling those extra glaives as well.
Healing cell to top back up. Shinra, I suspect he might life break this just to get his... No, it's okay, actually. Did they finally fix... Apparently Armlet wasn't ticking for 45, it was only ticking for 40. Not like this Huskar would notice, of course, because his HP regen is too high.
Yeah, no way. I imagine that gets fixed, but there were a bunch of things that I should really reread the spring cleaning for.
Yeah, true. Did you enjoy the Rubik chapter?
That was a lovely afternoon by the fire.
Indeed. All these things that I thought weren't supposed to work all of a sudden do. I thought I was going crazy for all these shards that didn't work.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I bet they'll let loose the janitor on that.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard what that man does for ability draft, and first I want to say thank you so much,
Agreed.
and secondly, that guy seems like the kind of brain that would enjoy fixing these sort of things.
Please play Ability Draft more, everyone. It is a very fun and intuitive game mode to test your Dota 2 knowledge.
Let's get started.
Oh yeah,
The more,
you'll find out
Radiant's
that you know
bottom
nothing,
tower
which is the
is under
experience that we
attack.
all enjoy so much about
yeah,
Dota.
indeed, you'll find out that most passives are extremely broken in this game as well. If you and that Dota is a very finely balanced and very finely tuned game.
Exactly, and then if you meddle, like if you twiddle two of the knobs, everything goes haywire.
goes wrong. A little aftershock with something like Ice Vortex. Yep. 2-second cooldown ability. Sunlight did blink in there. He's eager to show that one off. He's not gonna find Zor.
He's like, all right, we're going to engage now at some point in the future. We're getting our toolkit together.
It's a good word here, Felt. Their smokes are going to break eventually, and they might be scouted by this observer. Zor, not quite. He's going to go unseen and actually find a squirrel. That is going to be a very easy kill. Raindrops or not, I don't believe you're going to be saved from all that magic damage. However, Annihilate is going to be free to TP away, because even though Solji smoke did break there on the Viper, he didn't quite detect him. Shinra now.
Shinra
He's jumping
is
on
up.
in. BKB active, but he no longer is looking to turn. He's no longer eager to turn either. As Viper as well with an Eye of Scotty. So it's not just the Luna now who provides this threat. Zor is going to be in a bit of trouble as the LSA does connect at least onto Eye Annihilate. Silenced up, but now BKB is going to be this Viper, as Zor is going to be forced to proc his own BKB here in response to the Eclipse, which is going to basically be nullified. But they still get through the Axe. Borko now looking to team fight a little bit more. He's already dropped his Tombstone. Continue making a bit of space as Realm is going to be able to live through the Mystic Flare. Borko now being jumped now by Shinra, who has no BKB, but they do manage to slice through the Lina there. Shinra with a big old magic wand still alive here. Pingu doing a great job here with the dispels. And KBU are unable to string together the lockdown, the nuke damage to get through the Huskar. He lives, Kips. And
Dire's
Roche is
middle
up.
tower is under attack.
Wow, this is quite the plot twist, and it happened. Like that turning point in that fight was almost imperceptible. You think, all right, fine, KBU are good here, right? They moved up to that high ground, they forced the Huskar back. The
Radiant
Guardian
are dead.
Angel was already popped though, and especially the Lina, I think, finally got to click away a little bit this game, but it was mostly the Huskar.
Dire's
Steady,
bottom tower
overtime, not how you see a Huskar fight go down usually.
No, very true, and lots of dispels here as well. I mean, 2 Eye of Scotties that the Huskar is fighting into, and still the team fight ends up looking pretty decent for him. Luna, of course, without a BKB, is now going to quickly go back and build one.
Yeah, true, and this is why the Scotty on the Viper kind of surprises me as well, because you're already going to have the Luna targeting down this Huskar, right? If you build a second Scotty, Scotty's not a damage item. As good as it is in this specific counter, like there needs to be a Scotty debuff on this man, but then either one of them should have done it, and especially if the Viper has the bunny for it, he has the better range, so, you know, let the Luna build damage instead, or Satanic.
That's a really good point, actually. That's a very good point. Yeah, I don't think the stats that Scotty give you, of course, are quite good. I don't know if they're really that strong on someone like a Viper. Yes, 3,200 HP, but you do have one of the best percentage-based damage dealers in the entire game. Of course, this does amp fully with Ancient Seal. We haven't mentioned that, have we? But you can amp Life Break with Ancient Seal. So you.
Oh, and top lane?
That's MMR Tour. Sunlight's going to be taken to death. Looks like Solji and Zor make quick work of him. This is starting to look a little bit dicey now. The second Aegis could be a very big turning point, pardon me, for Felt. What do they need to get accomplished here, Kips, with this? Oh, second Aegis. Shinra is going to make a big jump in. The Call of Axe onto 2 as Annihilate does at least get off the BKB. The Tombstone has now been broken as Shinra making another jump here onto Annihilate with the Scepter now. He does taunt for 3 seconds. That is going to be a dead Viper as broken, stunned, and killed is going to be Borko.
Dire's bottom tower
Okay,
is
this seems
under
like a
attack.
good start to things that they need to get done with the second Aegis.
Exactly, like they can now just put this Huskar in the front line and actually tank with him. Like you've got the Aghanim Scepter ready now as well. So he's got a taunt now on his jump in, meaning that anyone who's standing right next to the engaged target is going to be his food as well, which we saw at the Undying right there.
I wonder what...
And he can stand his ground now.
There's not too many taunts in the game of Dota 2. You have Axe, of course. You have this Huskar. I believe there is one more that I'm missing. LC, I think, is a taunt. Yeah, that's correct. But I don't know. Oh, and of course Winter's Curse. But they all really interact quite strangely with one another. So we might get to see some very strange aggro if they do end up stacking their taunts. Okay, spear back for Shinra into the Eclipse and broken killed. That's going to be the first life here of the Huskar. He's got BKB when he responds, but they've dispatched of his supports. Shinra attempted to TP away, and even without the Heavenly Grace, he still has 3,500 HP. He TPs away easily.
You can see everybody bail as soon as they see that Pingu is in the arena. It's like, oh yeah, nope, this is not a fight anymore.
True.
Because if he's not in that arena, they're completely fine. They're just going to take that fight as soon as the Huskar respawns.
Radiant
But he dead? Nope. No, sir. Thank you.
In fact, probably Zora even takes the initiative there and jumps someone to make sure that they don't get Pingu in that fight, right? But unfortunately, with the positioning, that is not going to really be too viable of a strategy there at KBU. They hold nicely. And what was otherwise a very, very scary period for them now, it returns to a very, you know, what is it, swords into plows, right, as they now continue back farming.
Very poetic way to look at it, yeah. And they've made that switch several times now during this game, so they got some really good smithing game going on as well.
They really have, yes, they really have. They would, don't you know that these nunchucks and these sights are actually farming tools? Let's go ahead and do that.
Is that why the Chinese kicked everybody's ass?
That is true, yeah.
Like in their region.
The nunchucks, the scythes, quarterstaffs as well are also harvesting tools. Yeah, it's very...
I am learning.
The more you know. Yes. The last time Avo and I discussed this, we had a lot of experts in Twitch chat on medieval arms. It's very much an interesting conversation. From behind, Feltz smoked up. However, they have shown now in KBU did smoke a little bit later. They're going to run right into Solji, who does Silver Edge. The call from Axe onto 2. They're going to be able to nuke through the Undying. Bonus support's dead for KBU, and now Solji BKB's up. Disarmed and in trouble here. As into the arena goes Shinra. Taunted up. It's going to be Iron Island, but his BKB protecting him here, at least from some magic damage. Not for long, however. Zafro still ends up getting the kill onto him. They have lost Solji, but now BKB'd up. It's going to be Realm, but he just melts. Dunked by Zor, in fact. 3 dead, 4 for KBU after the buyback from the Warden, and he's now on the run. Mystic Flare, not quite enough damage to nuke through him. Eul Scepter to at least dispel the silence, but Zor looking for a second dunk will be denied there by the Bushwhack, but it doesn't change the outcome, Kips. 5 dead overall for KBU, as Feltz, even though they're the ones to get jumped, turn things around swiftly with the Call of Axe. The Call of Zor, really.
Beautiful. This is why I first picked this man Axe. This was the prime demonstration, because that's pretty much blind. He knows, by the way, they caught the Lina, that there need to be support troops in the area, so he jumps there. He gets both of the supports. They have to buy back. That means no Tombstone in this fight, no Bushwhacks to turn things around. Lina gets to take the high ground versus the Luna and attract all of her attention away without dying herself, and then the Huskar cleans house. This was everything Felt could have ever wanted.
Yeah.
All set up by that Axe. That was beautiful.
Really kind of dividing that fight perfectly. Here's how Luna just ends up dying. Luna, who conserves her 9-second BKB until, well, quite frankly, it's too late, because by then it was, well, it wasn't quite a 1v3, but you only had a Squirrel and a Sunlight Mars who had long since abandoned that fight.
Radiant's middle barracks
KBU be back towards looking to defend high ground. Shinra with 4,400 HP there. With the Heavenly Grace, of course, applied. It's only going to be the Melee Barracks. That's all they can get for this.
I made a meme a bit back. I photoshopped Mercy with Omni Knight's face on her and two Reavers in her hand. You know the picture?
I believe I do.
I think I'm gonna retweet that one.
This Hammer of Purity. Doing a lot of work. Hammer of Purity. It's all about the Hammer of Purity, isn't it? Isn't it, Kips?
Yes. Yeah, that is... I mean, to be fair, that's the thing that actually gave Omni Knight a lane. Like, I don't think we'd be seeing half as much of this hero if he still had what's the name of the aura again?
It's back on the Ag Shard. I was gonna ask, hold that thought.
Yeah.
MMR Tourist pops the BKB. He's gonna at least maybe get through Afro. Oh, into the arena goes Shinra with the taunt now onto MMR Tourist. Shinra falling quite low. Wants to get out of this fight. Zor has already used the call. And it hasn't really done too well here. The pushback missed. That's going to allow Rum to get back jump, but they have at least gotten through the Huskar once. He's got buyback. And Zor's TP is canceled. They dispatch a Pingu, and it seems like this time Felt's gone a bit too far. KBU pick up 4 without losing anyone. And Kips, this could time perfectly with third Roche. We're going to have to wait a couple of seconds to see when the big man's back. It will be a long Roche. Okay.
Late. Unfortunate for KBU, but then again, if they manage to find fights like this, they don't actually need to. That Sharpshooter still proving its worth. Like, every time it doesn't get tanked by any of the supports, that Huskar can die.
Solji not in that fight. Maybe could have made a difference, but yeah, 900 damage on Sharpshooter. Not to mention, of course, its signature break. We will take those. Realm up to level 25 has taken the Lucian's Beam mini stun. Sorry, the Eclipse mini stun, which is still on Lucian's Beam. Shinra does get jump.
Solji is just
does have BKB, and in fact, going to turn right back onto Annihilate. They have dispatched of Solji because he was trying to go from behind. Zor with a nice call here onto Annihilate, as Sunlight is going to at least BKB up. They've gotten through the Viper, doesn't have buyback, but they've also, more importantly, nuked through Shinra Huskar. That's a dieback for him. Pingu is now going to at least pop the G8, the only thing he could do, as his Huskar winning without him. Warden is going to be the last left on the high ground here. 4-staff forward from Pingu. He throws the Hammer of Purity Kips, and he picks up the kill onto the Warden. Try doing that with Degen Aura.
And that actually, the fact that they managed to get the Viper kill there with the double Aghanims, like the Mystic Flare, means that actually they hold, even though their Huskar and their Lina, their big damage dealers, are both dead. KBU would rather back off and see if Roche has respawns, which he hasn't, unfortunately for them. This is wild, by the way. We don't see this here, but Solji has been hitting from the low ground for like 5 seconds already before this entire thing pops off. It felt so disconnected.
You get Afro there. He simply gets caught out going on a warding mission. That is Tombstone committed, however, by KBU. Simple little kill there, and Afro does have buyback. 10 seconds till Roche is up. The teams, they're not going to know that, but they know it's now within 10 seconds, or any second now, up to a minute. So Realm is going to perfectly check this. Oh, is he going to be patient? Nope, they're never patient. But that's why you have Manto Illusions, right? You don't just farm the jungle with them? Okay, never mind.
This is why you have an offlaner. He'll stand there for you.
And speaking of the tank, Undying Steel Borko, go right in here. Third Roche contains the Refresher Shard. What are you thinking here? Double Viper Strike, double Eclipse, Satanic BKB Luna, triple Arena? What are your thoughts? Double Tombstone? No, just kidding.
I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it kind of would be, especially because he has taken the Tombstone on Death Talent. So, you know, Tombstone number 1, refresh, Tombstone number 2, run in and die with your drums, you know, get in there even faster.
That's great to me. And then, of course, Pingu also thinks that's great. And he purges off 300 zombies.
I mean, that, you know, that could be a problem, but then again, Kips 300 zombies. I mean, how do you get through those? How do you get away? How do you get to anyone?
Listen, I think that if you get like 3,000 strength on your Huskar, he can just hit the throne from where he's standing, and he doesn't need to deal.
That is right. Unfortunately, I think it's only Undying who grows with the strength. I think, right? Everyone else needs Bloodlust, BKB. What else makes you grow? Dragon Form.
Dragon Form, yeah.
Couple of heroes.
Iron's Ring.
Hitting level 25.
If this game keeps seesawing like this, we might very well see those neutral items come up eventually.
We very well could see and saw some of those heroes. You know, that was my old gamer tag in college, Kips. Before I was Seek and Strike, I was see and saw.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to do with that.
Neither does anyone else. Anyway, up to the high ground here and Broken now is going to be Realm. Mystic Flare, but of course Force Staff will get him to safety. Also Glimmer. The call from Axe is not going to connect. And
One,
fight
two.
kicking off now is Shinra, perhaps in a bit of trouble. His BKB quickly going to be wearing off, and they've hit him with the Viper Strike. Solji focusing on the Tombstone and allow Realm to push up to the high ground here. Still on his first life. No BKB, but conserving the Aegis until the next Silver Edge crit here out from Solji. They have caught him with the Bushwhack. Borko, however, has already lost his Tombstone in the fight as the Axe call from the Force Staff forward on the Zor. They've got Realm with all the damage in the world. They've nuked him down now. Shinra being held down. The Hunter's Boomerang's going to amp the damage he takes, but he's still alive as Sunlight here cannot finish him off alone. Steel Borko dunked in the sidelines here by Zor as they've gotten through Sunlight. That's a dieback for him. And the Warden's the only one who remains in the fight here. Annihilate gonna buy back. The blink forward now from Afro. And it seems like they're not gonna quite be able to get through. No, they will. Zor can't get the dunk, but now with 9 stacks of the Culling Blade. Oh my goodness, what the heck happened in that team fight?
Radiant's courier has been
I
killed.
think the biggest deal there is that they're juggling the damage between the Huskar and the Lina, and the Lina, she's fairly tanky right now. She's got that Skadi, she's got the Dragonlance, and they just needed too much time to get through her. So by the time they're probably focusing down the Lina, there's a second round ready from the Axe, second round ready from that Huskar, and this second, look at that, both cores blown to shreds. Zor showing off on that Axe.
And there's no buybacks. Luna's 20 golds from buyback, Kips. We might still have a game here, but oh, it seems like it's just gonna be a little bit too little, too late, Kips. Buyback gonna be ready here just about at the same time this throne's gonna fall. There's gonna be the buyback. They're focusing the throne though, broken without attacking to Shinra, but Solji's got more than ample damage. That is gonna be felt. The sea and saw. They came, they saw, they conquered, didn't they? Game 1 is gonna be a victory for Felt.